everyone, and welcome back to our Plugged In webinar series, and thank you for attending today's Questline Digital webinar, Proven Ways Utilities Are Improving Business Customer Satisfaction. My name is Maureen Murky, and I'm the technical producer and host for today's webinar. At Questline Digital, we're focused on bringing value to energy providers by improving the customer experience and achieving program goals. Before we begin, we want to cover just a few important housekeeping items with you. First, we love an engaged audience. If you have any questions during the event, we encourage you to submit them through the Q&A section located at the lower right of the presentation window. Don't be shy, our presenters love questions. We'll try to answer all of the questions during the webcast, but if a more in-depth answer is needed or we run out of time, we'll connect with you later via email. We also have the attendee chat open. Please feel free to use this function to chat with other attendees about what's standing out to you from the presentation, or to ask questions, or just to network. To get started, go ahead and drop in the chat where you're tuning in from. I am live from Columbus, Ohio. We will also be conducting poll questions throughout the presentation, and we hope that you'll join in the fun and participate. These polls will help all of us discover valuable insights and key takeaways on today's topic. To view the poll results, you can access the polls tab to the left of the screen. Habla usted español? Parlez-vous français? English not your native language? Check out our closed captioning feature for more options. We have 12 languages available. Next, we want to ensure that your webinar experience is as seamless as possible. Since some networks may cause sites to advance more slowly than others, we recommend logging off of your VPN. If your sites do fall behind, simply press F5 to refresh the page. If you're a Mac user, use Command R. It's that easy. Finally, look for a follow-up email in your inbox this week. You'll receive the PowerPoint presentation and a playback link to the webinar recording. Now, let me introduce our presenters for today. Derek Ron has been part of the LG&E and KU family since 2002, when he was hired as a student engineer in generation services. After his graduation in 2003, he has held positions as a support engineer and operations supervisor at one of the company's largest generation stations, group leader of operations and manager of policy and tariff and transmission, and manager of revenue requirement as part of rates and regulatory. In his current role, Ron focuses on delivering exceptional customer service and communications to LG&E and KU's business customers. Emmanuel Moore serves as BG&E's Director of Large Customer Services. In this role, he leads the strategy and team to engage commercial customers within Central Maryland to meet their energy needs and cultivates important relationships for the business. With more than 15 years at BG&E, Emmanuel has held several positions. In each of his roles, he strengthened BG&E's ability to partner with key stakeholders. Emmanuel has rooted interest in helping communities and families through education. He's a former board member and current supporter of Village Learning Place, a nonprofit dedicated to offering educational offerings to students and adults in Northeast Baltimore City. And last but certainly not least, Sarah Sharp has a depth of experience as a leader in utility marketing and customer engagement. She led the customer engagement efforts at Entergy for several years and has held numerous responsibilities in the energy industry, managing everything from customer service and billing and reliability issues to leading all aspects of marketing and digital customer experience. At Questline Digital, Sharp serves as a consultant, relaying expertise across client projects and product development initiatives. Now let's move over to our agenda. In today's webinar, we'll hear from each of our speakers about their efforts at increasing business customer satisfaction at their respective utilities and the challenges and the successes that they saw while doing so. After we hear from each of them, we'll end with a 10 to 15-minute Q&A discussion to learn more and answer any questions that you may have. Feel free to put those questions in the Q&A widget at any point in time during the presentation. We'll first hear from Derek, but before I pass it off, I'd like to begin today's presentation with a poll question. I'll go ahead and launch that now for you. The question is, how would you rank your own business customer communications? Are you doing everything you can to connect with business customers? You're on the right track, but there's room for improvement. You're trying, but you could use some help. It's better than it used to be, or maybe it's not great. Go ahead and choose how you would rank your own business customer satisfaction. There's no wrong answers here. I'll leave this poll open for just a minute or so to let those responses roll in. Remember that you can see all of the poll responses by going to that poll widget that's on your screen. And with that, I'll pass it off to Derek.
Thank you, Maureen. I'm going to be talking to you all today a little bit more about customer satisfaction from an LG&E KU perspective. So to kind of start, I want to first give you an introduction as to who we are. Located within Kentucky, we're LG&E, Louisville Gas and Electric, and Kentucky Utilities. We service about 1.3 million customers. 300,000 of those customers are gas customers, while the other million are what I'll classify as electric-only customers. Of our total customers that we're servicing, about 35% of those are business class customers versus the other 65% or more your residential class customers. Okay. However, one note I like to always make is of those customers that are classified as business customers, 60% of our revenue is received from them. Okay, which is the prime point in what we want to discuss here today about our services and our customer service specifically to our business class customers. KU specifically is ranked higher than most other similar size utilities in our particular region. Part of what's been given us that opportunity to be ranked that level is the clarity, the functionality, how we use our tools available to our customers, such as the mobile app, the website, as well as our face-to-face time that we have with our business class customers on a day-by-day basis. Now, first off, let's start at the root of what we as a utility are focused on. Our aspiration is to be the best utility in the U.S. Far and few between. We're one of those that are pursuing that on a day-in, day-out basis. Our mission to do that is to provide a safe, affordable, reliable energy for all of our customers, while at the same time being competitive in long-term returns for our shareholders. Now, to do this, to meet these needs of our customers as well as of the company as a whole, we try to push for customer satisfaction and customer experience at the forefront, going beyond and enhancing every interaction we have with the customers and the communities that we work with. To do that, we use tools such as the web page that you see in front of you, where we focus on our mission to exceed all expectations of our customers. Getting to the point of we also go out not just on the web, it's on our vehicles, it's on our web postings, it's on our facilities that we help sponsor across the Kentucky footprint, where we put our logos, and even in our day-to-day interactions with customers and neighbors out in the field is what we get into. Now, it's not just while we're on the clock doing these particular actions, it's even in the off-clock type scenarios where we're making phone calls with customers or just having sidebar conversations as to how their day-to-day activities are going and what is working for them is not. Our goal is to go beyond and enhance every interaction we have with those customers and the communities that we're servicing on a day-by-day basis. Now, something I want to point out from a relationship building perspective with our business customers, it's not just that we give them access to our internet pages or the 1-800 hotline numbers, but it's in the day-to-day interactions. It's the face-to-face time that answering not just their day-to-day questions such as billing-related concerns or power usage concerns. It's also asking them questions along the lines of how can we better provide you service or better your own operations at your particular plant or facility. It's those type of relationships that have helped us build on and go into the future. What you see in the bottom left-hand corner is Governor Andy Beshear and our president, John Crockett, at the inaugural opening of or building of the Blue Oval site. That partnership, that particular project, is a battery manufacturing site that's going to employ over 5,000 employees specifically. The partnership didn't just come as a new opportunity, as a new customer coming to us asking for our service. It's a build upon the existing customer relations we have with them as a customer. Ford already operates 2 large plants here in Louisville, specifically the truck plant, servicing and maintaining employees of over 8,000 that we're constantly working with on a day in and day out basis. When solidifying that deal and that communication, they ended up saying to us, we want you to service us because of our existing relationship, and we understand how you operate as well as how well we can communicate with you. those are leaps and bounds into how we fortify our customer service. We also pursue recognition and identification and meeting what the community and others around us are kind of pursuing for how we involve and are projected to other customers. For example, the Site Selection magazine in 2023 nominated us as a top 20 utility. That's getting to the concept of we had over 97 opportunities announced within our service territory in 2022, just this past year. Of those announcements, we're talking well over 5,000 plus employees that are going to be locating within the state of Kentucky. You got to remember, we're not just servicing those particular businesses. With those businesses come the residential customers, you and I as families coming into the territory. So that's why there's a focus on this customer communication and how we meet their needs. Also, the J.D. Power Award is something we put a lot of pride into. This is our 30th award since 1999 that we've recently received specifically. And what they focus on, which gives us focuses as well, is on power quality, reliability, what our price is, how billing is treated, how is our customer contact, how are we involving ourselves with the community that we service, which gets to the last portion of this slide, empowering the economic growth for Kentucky. You'll see the notes associated with that of over $31 billion in new investments in Kentucky. It's those relationships that helped us get to this point, not just as the utility, but as a community within Kentucky. And that's what I had to cover here with you today. If you have any questions, please feel free to submit those through the QA box, and I'll return you back to Maureen. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Derek. You shared a ton of helpful advice and insights right there. So now before we jump into Emmanuel strategies with BG&E, let's do another poll question. I'll launch that question out now for you, and we are asking now, how are you currently working to improve business customer satisfaction? Are you deploying consistent digital communications? Are you meeting with customers in person? Providing training or educational opportunities? Or all of the above? Or maybe none of the above? Go ahead and choose what you are currently doing. And I can't wait to see what you guys are all currently doing at your own utilities. I'll leave the poll open for just another minute. And again, quick reminder, you can send in questions at any time through that Q&A widget on your screen. All right, I'm going to close out the poll now, and I will pass it off to Emmanuel to hear more about BG&E's efforts.
Thank you, Maureen, and it's a pleasure to be here today to share some of the learnings that we have gathered at BG&E. So today, I'm going to talk a little bit about how BG&E engages our commercial customers to generate high customer satisfaction. I'll talk a little bit about our vision, our conversion of opportunities to programs, how we proactively engage our customers, and how our customers are responding in a way that tells us it's working. I'll also share some of the challenges and the future state that we're proposing for our large customer services organization. So before I begin, just to tell you a little bit about BG&E and Exelon. BG is a part of the Exelon utility fleet. We're 1 out of 6. Exelon is the largest utility company in the nation with nearly 11 million customers. So we're packed with a lot of expertise and customer interactions that help us drive a high satisfaction rate for our customers. So a little bit about BG&E. As Maryland's largest utility company, we serve about 1.3 million customers. We're the first gas utility in the United States. We were founded in 1816. I represent the large customer service organization where we manage the engagement strategy for BG&E's commercial customer segment. We're a small team, just under 30 employees. We work together to address both short-term and long-term needs of our commercial segments. And we really try to embrace the idea of doing this in partnership with the many stakeholders within the organization. Our day-to-day aim was set in 2022, and the idea is to marry our actions with our vision stated priorities. And that is create strategic partnership, proactively assist our customers, invest in meaningful innovation, and ensure that we're communicating in a relevant manner. And the purpose is really to identify how to make commercial customers, how to improve their experience, not only with BG&E, but also within their own operations in terms of how they use energy. So how do we do that? when you work in a large customer organization, you're going to always have incoming calls about some very routine issues that customers bring to our attention. And that centers on reliability, billing, technology, construction challenges. So when a customer calls or emails us about any one of these matters, we try to solve that issue straightforward, but then we gather as a team to talk about how do we solve this issue from a long-term standpoint. We shift our mindset that if one customer is experiencing a challenge, it's more than likely that other customers are also experiencing that same challenge. So how do we package that information and then use that to influence change across the organization? And that could be through program investment or process improvements. For example, reliability and bills are always drivers of calls for escalations. My team will investigate and try to resolve these matters, not just for that one particular customer, but how do we influence programs to be created to solve these types of issues for all of our customers? So far, we've been able to influence a business energy manager tool that helps to give customers real-time access to how they're using energy, with opportunities to reduce that energy and save dollars. We've provided influence to help generate rebates where customers can invest in high energy efficiency equipment and then recoup dollars through rebates to help offset what they've spent to save energy. We've provided influence on programs that would provide grants to small businesses to show that we're listening to their pain points and trying to make their ability to operate a little easier. We've also included incentives for new construction and new economic development platforms within the state of Maryland. Outside of just addressing customer concerns, we're always looking for ways to engage our customers from a proactive standpoint. So if we really want to influence customer satisfaction, it can't just be through taking reliability and billing calls, right, and solving problems. We have to engage our customers proactively. We have to be top of mind. In some ways, create opportunities to get face-to-face with our customers. Some of the ways that we've done that is we have a monthly newsletter that goes to all of our commercial customers that are managed by our large customer services team. We also launched a quarterly newsletter that goes to our small business customers. We have quarterly meetings with our Smart Energy Council. These are a select group of representative commercial customers that we meet with to share our plans and our ideas, get feedback, and then incorporate their ideas into our business plans for the remaining of the year. We have quarterly webinars that educate our customers on new policies that are coming out and how it's shaping the energy delivery system. And then most recently, we just had our annual Premier Customer event where we brought about 150 of our largest energy users into the room. They learned about BG&E innovations. They had an opportunity to network amongst themselves, as well as to meet some of our leaders and share some of their opinions, share some of their ideas and feedback. It's through this interaction, this face-to-face real-time dialogue, that we're able to solidify our relationships and drive the business forward, not just for BG&E, but for the customers that we serve. So how do we know that our efforts are working? We take an annual survey with our large commercial customers every year. And for the past 7 years, we've been in the 90 percentile in terms of customer satisfaction. We just began our small and medium business program and started surveying them on a monthly basis. Last year, we ended at 8.23 out of 10 in terms of customer satisfaction. There's opportunities to improve in that area, as well as our large customer service. But the facts remain that the outreach that we're providing, the face-to-face interactions, are causing our customers to have strong trust for us. They advocate for us when they're asked to, and they appreciate all that we're putting into making sure that we understand their business and creating that relationship. So what are our challenges? Right now, across the state of Maryland, as well as the United States, there's a policy change in the way that energy is being delivered. The landscape is literally changing, and it requires us to stay on top of not just the news, but legislative efforts. If we're going to be proactively assisting our customers and being seen as an energy advisor, we have to inform our customers on how these policies are shaping the way that we deliver energy to them. Our customers are relying on us to be the experts in this space as they're trying to navigate how they operate profitably in Maryland. And so it requires that we retool. We have to get a little more analytical. We have to be paying attention to legislation. It also challenges us in terms of how we're hiring for this position. This is the type of organization that gets a lot of opportunity to network with other organizations within BGE. And so a lot of times our senior account reps are moving on to promotions, which requires us to backfill those seats and create opportunities to create a stronger relationship with those customers that we're still serving. So those are some of the challenges that we're experiencing. In order to get over those challenges, we need to make sure that it's fun to do this job. We have to reward our employees for the innovations and the ideas that they're bringing, as well as making sure that we keep the customer top of mind. If we're able to take care of all of these things, not only will we have stronger customer relationships, but we'll also be able to build advocacies and partners with our commercials that'll help guide us forward in our success as we help them continue to receive the energy that they need. Thank you for the opportunity to present this information. If you have any questions, please put it in the chat. I'll hand it back to Maureen.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. It's incredible to see all that you've accomplished at BG&E, and I know that what you've shared is going to help a lot of folks in the audience today. I'm going to launch a third poll question before Sarah shares about her experiences. The question is, what are your biggest challenges to improving business customer satisfaction? Your options are rising energy costs, lack of internal resources or knowledge, difficulty engaging with business customers, complexity of programs or services, or all of the above or other. I'll leave that open for another minute. Q&A is coming up quick, so please put your thinking caps on and send in those questions. All right, and now I will close that poll out, and Sarah, take it away.
Thank you. Quick introduction. I am Sarah Sharp. I'm a business development consultant at Questline. I've been at Questline since the beginning of the year after a full career at Entergy. At Entergy, I held leadership roles in business account management, marketing, and customer experience. So today I want to share some of the successes I had improving business customer satisfaction while I was at Entergy. Both Derek and Emmanuel discussed the importance of account management and continuous engagement with customers. A key element of this is to leverage digital engagement for relationship building. In fact, if you don't build relationships, sometimes the only touch point with customers is the monthly bill. It's also harder to reach customers during times of crisis, such as outages or maintenance issues, if you don't have a digital presence. You also miss out on collecting some very valuable customer data. So it's important to establish ongoing touch points, to be seen as a trusted advisor, to help foster positive relationships and to educate customers. In fact, Accenture notes that those who are engaged are 80% more likely to participate in programs. They're 73% more likely to share personal information and 69% more likely to be satisfied with their energy provider. So how do we build that satisfaction? How do we build that relationship with our customers? At Entergy, we started by developing a multi-channel communication strategy so we could connect with our customers at critical points in their journey. A very successful tactic to establish this is a proactive welcome series, which consists of around 4 to 5 emails over a couple of months. This helps to introduce new customers to important account-related information. We then dovetailed on top of that with timely and relevant newsletters, filled with articles, videos, and important information of interest to the customer. We also leveraged this content across social channels for a larger presence. And finally, we held several webinars a year for deep dive discussions to be seen as that trusted advisor to our customers. So now that we have a digital strategy in place, how do we continue to build customer satisfaction? So it's important to keep open and transparent communications to be that trusted source of information. It's also important to understand your business customer needs and help develop solutions, to provide economic development opportunities to help grow the whole community, to be a resource for electrification and other new products and services, and also to support small businesses. Small businesses, medium-sized businesses, and large businesses all have a little bit of different needs. And overall, to ensure customer-centric strategy by continuously listening to your customers and improving based on their feedback. So the next couple of slides help show some of the digital communication examples. Here I'm showing a lighting campaign for business customers. For lighting, we were able to segment and provide different messages based on the business. So, for example, some lighting customers, safety is the major thing, so that message comes across. For others, it's visibility, so that customers can see their business or their signage. So one of the great things is that we can segment the messages based on the customer need. These are examples of campaigns that help build awareness around programs and services that customers might not have been familiar with. And here we have some examples of proactive storm communications. And this ties back to the importance in the strategy that we talked about on being transparent, keeping open and transparent communications, and the benefit of keeping customers informed throughout the journey. And some final examples here are of newsletters and the invitation to our webinar series. This shows the types of articles and information that can be included in a newsletter. And newsletters are a great tool for ongoing communication and relationship building with the business customers. There's average over a 40% open rate of these newsletters, and the click-through rate into the articles is over 13%. So some really great engagement through ongoing newsletters to help build those relationships. And webinars, the webinars actually have skyrocketed since COVID as far as registrations. Registrations went up over 80% since 2022. And they're a very effective tool, an educational tool for business customers, as well as help to be a positive lead generator. So some really great tools there. So what's my main takeaway? My main takeaway is that digital communications is a very cost-effective method for ongoing relationship building with your customers. When you connect with your business customers where they are and with messages that they care about, it results in improved customer satisfaction. And you do this through awareness, education, and action. So thank you for letting me do this presentation today. And now let me turn it back over to Maureen.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Sarah. How fantastic is it that we've gotten to hear from some award-winning utilities today? Thank you so much to each of you, Derek, Emmanuel, and Sarah. And now let's jump into Q&A. All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for sending in some of those great questions. You can continue to send those in. Derek, Emmanuel, Sarah, are you ready to get to the Q&A?
Of course.
Yes.
All right, let's do it. So first question here, Emmanuel. It says, actually, we'll start here. Derek, it says, nice stuff. What are you doing to anticipate customer needs, even ones they don't know they have or can't articulate?
What we like to do at LG&E KU, again, first starting off, thank you for the time today. But at LG&E KU, we focus on survey, going back out to customers on a day in and day out basis, and more of asking them questions and listening to what they have feedback-wise with what we could do better.
Perfect. And Emmanuel, they actually had the same question for you. What are you doing to anticipate your customer needs?
So I'll mention two things. One, what Derek said, surveys are very critical for us to get deeper insights on what our customers are interested in. The other thing that we're starting to do is applying analytics to customer behaviors. We brought on a senior business analyst who specializes in creating these Power BI dashboards that can look back at historical, payment, usage, et cetera. And then from those insights, it'll generate some hypotheses through my team where we can then engage a customer to kind of call out what we're seeing and see if there's some correlation to some interest that they might have, whether it's energy efficiency, a different payment program. So those are some of the ways that we try to anticipate our customers' needs.
Awesome. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Emmanuel, this next question came in during your section as well, so I'll shoot this over to you. It says, do you have a customer data strategy? How do you engage with customers who use third-party tools for energy management?
Great question, and thanks for submitting. So as I mentioned, the analytical portion of our responsibility is a growing area for large customer services, and we're learning as we go. So as an example, one of the things that we've created was a dashboard that tells us which of our customers are having maybe the most challenge with paying their bills on time. right? We can see the top 10, the top 25, and then create a strategy within the team to kind of go after those customers, not from a collection standpoint, but maybe a little bit of a gentle nudge, and then explore what might we be doing differently that can maybe assist their needs. For those customers that are using third-party, say, billing and payment providers, we have a customer investigation specialist team that has conversations with those customers and making sure that those third parties are getting the information they need through some of our business energy management tools. We turn them on to some of our analytical tools that help them to understand their business's use of energy. And then we set up consultation conversations to see if there's ways to drive down costs through energy reductions.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Sarah, I believe this question came in during your section. Derek or Emmanuel, if you want to jump in after, feel free. But Sarah, the question is, when it comes to the monthly customer newsletters, how are you curating content? Is it based on the company focus points or customer requests?
Yeah, that's a great question. Part of it is we look at what's happening in the market, what's seasonal, what's important that way. But we also pay very close attention to what our customers, what content they're already engaging with, and segment that based on the customer base. But the most important thing is listening to the customer, gaining insight by what they're engaging with, and then going deeper dive into that content.
Perfect. Thank you. Derek, I'm going to put this question to you. You talked a lot about how your utility, you all work together. You have that same goal and mission. So how do you make sure, though, that everyone company-wide is aligned on your business customer satisfaction strategies?
Great question. We use internal promotion. You all may remember from my presentation, there was a slogan on there, for example, that says, "Go beyond," specifically. From an internal push perspective, we have made postings on our internal websites and done cross-training for that. Going beyond isn't just the words itself. It's being positive from a B perspective, envisioning yourself as the individual customer. Yes, you make the difference. Own the interaction with the individual customer. Now is the time to help them decide what they need to do and how we can help them do it, and do more. There's always room for improvement in what we can do, getting back to the idea of going beyond and how we proceed down that. Training, as I said, is held from an internal perspective on this exact program, and talking points are provided on a daily basis back to us. As questions come up, they are recirculated back within the customer service team and re-answered as to how we can improve upon these processes.
Awesome. I love that go beyond. I think that's just so great. I love that you guys have that.
Maureen, may I comment on that same question? So a lot of what Derek said resonates with me. At BG, that theme is good energy, right? And we are striving to bring good energy in terms of our attitude, the positivity that every problem can be resolved if we put enough resources to it. There's this misconception that because large customer services has these really unique relationships with our customers, in some cases, different departments sometimes feel as if they can't engage our customers face to face or directly, right? And so we're always opening the door to bring those operational stakeholders in front of the customer with us so that we can help to create this more holistic relationship with BG&E, and then we can have the technical people kind of speak the same language. We try to broker that conversation in a way where we can create less of a middleman approach. And that's one way that we also help to introduce the philosophy of good energy, not just to throughout large customer services, but the entire organization and with our customers as well. So I appreciate what you were sharing, Derek.
Thank you.
I love that. Having a mission is so important. Emmanuel, I'm actually going to have another question for you. So you mentioned that you do a lot of work within your community. Have there been any situations where you've maybe received some negative feedback from customers, but you've turned it into something positive?
Yeah, so I would say not personally receiving negative feedback, but I have had customers who provide another perspective for how we might have engaged them differently to get their input on, say, a program or a project that we've launched. So as an example, we have a market research team. They conduct surveys and they also conduct focus groups before we launch any sort of initiative for our customers. In some cases, I think we could do better by having a large customer in the room who operate differently from a small business, who operate differently from a residential customer. And so in years past, we've offered incentives to our different customer classes, but our large customers had shared that they felt like some of the rebates could have been done in a way that meets their large customers' needs. And so what do we do to ensure that we don't miss that boat again or miss that opportunity? If you recall in my presentation, I talked about us creating smart energy councils. And for us, what that was is we wanted to get a cross section of our large customers. So we have industrial and medical and education and property management, et cetera. And every quarter we meet with them to talk about proposals and changes that we'd like to introduce to our various customer segments, particularly large customers. And it's in those conversations that we hear their specific interests, we answer questions, and before we take anything out to the public, we take that input and we work with our internal stakeholders to making sure that the large customers' perspectives are caught in the planning stages. And that's one way to sort of take feedback, but also admit that, we don't know everything. If we don't get the customer's insight on the planning of those projects and programs, there's an opportunity for us to miss something critical. And so we bring them to the table in those Smart Energy Council meetings, and that's how we kind of keep them at the forefront of our decision-making and planning.
Awesome. That's great that you do that because, like you said, we don't know everything. So it's important to ask and have those conversations.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Sarah, a question for you. I know that you talked a lot about your various strategies throughout your time at Entergy. And I know that you kind of had to build some of those from the bottom up. So do you have any suggestions for maybe utilities in the audience who are working to get that buy-in to start implementing the strategies?
Yeah, very good question. And it's something that we worked hard at. And bottom line, you need to state the business case or make the business case sometimes when you're trying to get leadership to approve, doing a new strategy. And it's easy to do with a digital strategy. I mean, we were able to prove at Entergy, we were able to prove that we had a 3.7% increase in customer satisfaction for customers who engaged in the newsletter. There are all kinds of statistics that you can get and metrics you can get from from a digital strategy that you can use to help support that. Questline publishes a benchmark report every year. It's filled with all kinds of stats around engagement digitally, email engagement, webinar engagement, et cetera, et cetera. So, use that to help build your business case, to prove your business case that a multi-pronged digital strategy more than pays for itself.
Awesome. Thank you. My next question is going to be for all of you. So whoever would like to begin. The question is, how are you personalizing your approach to reaching your various business audiences? Emmanuel, you just mentioned about, hearing the conversations from SMB versus your commercial. So how are you differentiating those communications?
I think it starts by being present and in the room. For as much as we're moving towards more of a digitization and an automation of our transactions, I think that face-to-face conversation is still very critical. Some of the things that we've done just to make sure we're hearing the specific voice of our commercial customer audiences is, we attend different events. We sponsor small and medium business events so that we can bring our message, network, meet some of the small business customers that we have, ask them questions sort of in an intimate setting versus a survey. For our large customers, we host events. Like I mentioned, the webinar. The other thing that we just did, and we're still kind of on a high on it, we had a very successful premier customer meeting. It's an annual gathering where we pack the room of all of our large customers. We put an agenda together that sort of highlights the important priorities of our customers. We lay it all out on the table, and then we invite Q&A. We have stations all around that room of the various departments that BGE represents, from EVs to reliability, and they can have very quaint and intimate conversations with each of those leaders to find out what are we doing to serve their needs in those specific areas. And then usually we have a follow-up conversation with our customers. What do they get from it through surveys? And then that just generates more opportunities for us to have meaningful dialogue based on the feedback that we've gotten from those events. But those are some of the ways that we try to pinpoint what is the interest level and how can we know our customers, not just from an account number and a billing status, but a personalized, a personalized profile of each of our customers, and understand like what really makes them tick, what is their core interest in the way they want to do business with us.
Awesome. Derek, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, Emmanuel, really good response in that. Only thing I'll add, a little bit of a twist is I like to think a little bit bigger picture, from a big picture with what Emmanuel was kind of getting at. We are pursuing not just with existing customers. This is with the potential communities that need more growth and more opportunity within. And it gets to way I like to think about it from a slogan wise, or something to think about, is empowering the economic vitality and quality of life throughout our service territory as a whole within Kentucky. How do we do that? Focusing on simplistically 4 pillars of building relationships with the customers that we have, proactively investing, like Emmanuel said, with these events with them to get to know them and what their ultimate goals are. Marketing and telling our specific story as to how we can help them grow and prosper, not just maintain what their existing operations is, but get even bigger and better, and help others around them. And then execute as quickly as we can to be able to service them. Some come to us, as many of y'all have probably experienced. It's not that they just needed the power just in a next year or two. They need it tomorrow. How can we give it to them as quickly as we can and be at the front edge with them, front page with them in those initial communications? So it's the empowerment that's a big kick for our side as well.
Awesome. And Sarah, anything else?
Yeah, both Emmanuel and Derek spoke on this, but it's so important that I'm going to emphasize it again, that the number one most important factor is to listen to your customers. And I will say, since I spoke about the digital strategy, digital strategy is a great way to gain insights and to really learn from, looking at metrics of what content customers are engaging with, what products are they buying, all of this in a digital platform is available, and just use that feedback loop to once again provide the customers information that they're looking for and that they're interested in.
Perfect. Well said. All right. You've each touched on this topic a little bit, but this is a great question that just came in. So we'll see what else you have to say. So for all, what do you do to deliver superior customer experiences to SMB customers so they feel the same love that large commercial accounts feel?
I'll jump in. They're of equal value, of equal support that we provide across it. We actually, within LG&E KU, we do have a key account team, but we also have a business service team that's working directly with those business related customers on a day in and day out basis. Constant communications, even myself with my counterparts over there, of what type of messages that we're giving to the key accounts, as well as that they should be providing, or vice versa, to the commercial class customers or the smaller businesses local within the territory. We're also engaging our engineering team out in the field for how we can also make sure that the service is meeting the quality that the customer is expecting. The way it goes, if the lights go out, they can't run their business at the same time. It's not just important for our industrial class customers. It's just as important for those business customers and residential customers that we're servicing.
Absolutely. Emmanuel or Sarah, anything to add?
Yeah, I think it goes back to something I had said earlier, that we don't have all the answers. But the small, medium business class, super important, and they're a larger population than our large customers. but they also don't have the same layers of the expertise, right? They don't have facility managers and engineers that kind of operate their operations. Sometimes you're talking to the owner who is managing the bills as well as the operations. We partnered with the Small Business Administration here in Maryland to be a part of the conversations as they're talking to small businesses, for us to be in the room and taking notes, asking questions and learning. And it's through those interactions that we're able to create programs and hone in on their interests. And for example, something we launched right at the pandemic, and this was back in 2020, the Energizing Small Business Grants, and where we were giving $20,000 grants to qualifying businesses to kind of keep them afloat during the pandemic. And what this was really our acknowledgement of the struggle of keeping the doors open during a very unprecedented time. And it's through that we were able to build more trust, an appreciation of our paying attention to their needs, and then it built a relationship for us to go back to them, ask what more can we do. Energy efficiency programs is one thing, but when you come to the door with an understanding that, hey, your survival is critical to our economy, here's one thing that we can do to help you keep your doors open and remain a viable economic engine or part of the economic engine in Central Maryland, it goes a long way to build that relationship that we need to learn how to better service them.
Yeah, I'll just add, I attended many conferences where the topic came up about the small business customer being the one kind of left behind. And so I will say that one of the key things, once again, I know I'm talking digitally, the tool, but to be able to provide very important segmented information to small business customers, whether it's through a newsletter or emails or however, is really important. There are too many small business customers to have an account manager contact them for every important thing that goes on. So leverage that digital opportunity. It really pays off.
Perfect. And time flies when you're having fun, because we have reached the end of our event, unfortunately. Everybody, thank you so much for all of those amazing questions that you sent in. And again, thank you so much, Derek, Emmanuel, and Sarah, for all of your insights and your advice on how to improve business customer satisfaction. All around, it was an amazing discussion. I learned a lot, and I'm sure that our audience members learned a lot too. As a reminder, the follow-up email will be sent to everyone shortly with the presentation materials and the playback link. If you do have any additional questions or you have feedback, please don't hesitate to contact us. There will also be a brief survey at the conclusion of the event, so please don't close out your browser right away. We would love your feedback. And our next webinar will be November 16th and will be the last of the year, so please join us. We'll be covering 2024 email marketing best practices and trends, so get ready to see what's coming in the new year. Until then, thank you again for attending and have a great day.
Thank you.